broadcasting in Johannesburg on 1485 AM and nationally on DSTV Audio Channel 869.
Participate Radio with Bruce Denner.
Good morning, everybody. Very cool to be back with you, and the weather is clearly commiserating with the rugby results or something. But if you've survived the weekend, if you survived that, you'll survive the week. So yeah, welcome to this new week, second last week of September. This is Participate Radio. I'm Bruce Denell, and I have another lovely panel of guests in the studio with me this week. And if you can maybe just sort of shout out as I introduce you. Tim Hendricks is here. He's going to be chatting about his new album called Contemplating Change. Hello, Tim.
Hey, how you doing?
There we go. He's kind of somewhere in between the mics there, but we'll pick him up just now. That's Tim. We've got Antoinette Murdoch from the Joburg Art Gallery. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
That's Antoinette, and that's the Sir Edwin Layton's building is turning 100 next month, November, not next month. So that's exciting news as well. We've got Robert Coleman, and he's being grossly indecent, but not in studio. He's doing that on stage. So hello, Robert.
Hello.
And with Robert Whitehead. So that's the indecency is guaranteed, I think. We have Deneen Naidu, and she's representing the Fearless Music Tour. Hello, Deneen.
Hello, morning.
Hello, there we go. And we have Simon Crawley, and he's from Great Domains, which is what is a distribution company?
Fine wine importer distributor, yeah.
There we go.
Morning, Bruce.
Fine wines, and we're going to be talking champagne and other things on this drizzy day. Things to do indoors. Drink is one of them. But let's, as we mentioned, Great Domains is an importer and distribution company for fine wines, champagnes, all of this kind of thing. And we were just chatting to some of your guys last week, just champagne sales going up like quite strongly in South Africa, and this is fine champagne, this is expensive stuff, going up despite the exchange rate, all the rest of it. It strikes me there must be a devoted market, people for whom champagne is kind of natural. It's part of their lifestyle. How do you sort of kind of tap into that and then give them what they need? Because again, it's not I'm going to buy whatever $1,000 bottle of champagne for a major event once every 5 years, if that. These guys are having it sort of not quite on their cornflakes, but probably a small glass before supper, and etc. 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 Tying into that, business wise, how do you kind of meet their needs, if you like?
Well, you were talking about, buying an expensive bottle, once every now and again to celebrate something, and historically, for over 300 years, that's what champagne's been all about. It's been about opening something to celebrate, it's been about luxury, it's been about fashion, and I think it's only in recent times, really, that people have actually started to sort of appreciate what champagne really, really is and where it's from. Which will probably explain, I think, sort of, that sort of gradual increase in sales and people looking for it. Champagne is by and large almost synonymous with sparkling wine around the world. Obviously, and in South Africa, so many people, if you go to somebody's house, they'll offer you a glass of champagne, but when they actually come to pouring it, it's a local bottle of sparkling wine. And that's because champagne is just so
in their heads.
That.
And is part of that kind of the reflected kind of glory kind of thing. We know sort of we're talking about music, rappers like the Christelle or the whatever, etc. There's always a brand that sort of reflects on somebody. Is it the same thing, do you think, that people will be buying, I want to buy this kind of champagne, that kind of champagne, it might be one of your brands because they are high-end and so on, and going, because this reflects on me. And if people walk into my house, they see a bottle of Paul Roger, for instance, on my dining room table, they're going to think XYZ about me. None of it's true, but all I had to invest in it was one bottle's worth, and now I've made myself a brand by association.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Obviously, a lot of the brands you talk about and the ones you're referring to, the famous ones, we actually prefer to work with the growers and the champagne houses, which produce a fraction of what these other really big names do. And that just goes back to the fact that the people that come to see us and do buy from us as I said, want to actually go back and appreciate what Champagne is really all about. It's from this area, sort of right sort of in the northern part of France. What different styles are produced because of their soils, because of their climate.
Yeah. As you say, you're not doing the sort of major brands.
Yeah.
Which again, are fantastic products, but then become less special in the way that we're talking about because kind of everybody and their dog has a bottle. So,
yeah, exactly. When you just when you look at how many sort of bottles produced, and look at these other houses which are producing in the tens of millions. There's a little bit sort of a sort of special factor about those smaller ones that you are appreciating, and all you have to do is actually go to Champagne, and you just drive through, and you will on every road will encounter some little house, some little producer in the nook in that road, and the Champagnes are beautiful, and that's that's what Champagne is about. It's not always about what's big and flashy.
Yes.
Because as I said, that's kind of the journey it's taken. It's gone from being and still is about celebration and luxury and fashion and everything like that. But it's now there's that real deep appreciation.
It's also about personality now.
Yeah, it's about personality and.
I was very interested to see those figures because the money's not insubstantial, but people are buying, and a bigger and bigger number of people. So it's.
I mean, at the end of the day, wine, champagne, it is a luxury item. So those people who can and do want to put some of their money towards spoiling themselves, that kind of thing, they'll continue to do so.
Fantastic. But jumping to Simon, who will be sponsoring the drink. No, that's just putting me on the spot.
I was thinking
Awkward. Now you chatted a little bit just now about, especially with the kind of these boutique brands or whatever the word would be that you guys are doing, the role of history and reputation in kind of bringing them to people's attention. I know you've just relaunched Lanson in South Africa, and that's forgive me if I get the term wrong. It's a royal charter, or how it's champagne to the Queen, essentially. So it's got the little badge on it, and so on. And again, that's one thing that people will look at. If it's a royalist, they go, "Oh, I'm drinking that. If it's good enough for Queenie, it's good enough for me." And it doesn't really matter what's inside the bottle or what the label says otherwise. But things like that, assumptions made because of culture. What are some of the other ones? You've got the royal thing there. You've got you were talking about lovely little villages, etc. What are some of the other assumptions that bring people to the brands?
To Champagne in particular?
Yeah, or any of or your wines as well. Yeah.
Assumptions being that what we do is we're not trying to compete or get people to compare South African wine, because obviously we're a wine producing nation with those of Europe. What attracts people to them is the fact that countries like France, Italy, and Spain, Portugal, they've been producing wine a lot longer than we have. And unlike us, they have sort of real stringent rules about what's grown where and how much and things like that, for particular reasons. And I think the people who really appreciate wine, and it's a lot easier for, I think, South Africans to appreciate wine because we
are a wine growing nation.
Exactly, so we produce it. So people like it, they really get into it, and then sort of the questions are there. They want to they want to taste the same thing, but from the place where it originally came from.
It originally came from. Also, you mentioning sort of limited growth areas. Portugal's not a big place, etc. Is that also part of the kind of marketing? Is to say this is very limited edition. It's that hillside that year. It's done. Whatever's in this box is what remains, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think as a company, Great Domains, we like to be representing the most traditional producers that are out there, and when it comes down to the people we do represent, we like to really establish close relationships with them. So we have exclusivity with essentially all of them, but we make a point of visiting them at least twice a year. We have close relationships with them, so the people who come to us then to get the wines, to appreciate them, there's just a whole lot of synergy.
And the relationships are there, so they can find out all the stories. It's not a brochure
They
and
can find out
on
the
a pick and pay
stories.
counter.
Yeah, they can find out the stories if they're planning to take a trip there. They sometimes ask us, please would you be able to give this producer, a call. We'd love to, just go taste or spend the day there. So there really is. It goes beyond just what's inside the bottle and then your glass. So.
I must say that's for me that's the best part of all of these kinds of things. Wine, champagne, cigars, all the rest of it is just these lovely interactions and the history. And you mentioned traditional, and a lot of people hear the word traditional and go, oh, that sounds boring. But it's talking about traditions, it's talking about history and stories and storytelling and stuff. So it's actually very exciting. I was at Great Domains last week myself, and sitting outside just as stories go, and while we're sitting and talking, I was talking to Derek, the CEO, and a trio of aerobatics planes flew over, because that happens, why not? And then that happened and distracted us a bit, and we carried on talking, and then a guy started cutting a branch above my car in the parking lot, with a chainsaw. So just stories make things more interesting, is my point.
I bet you then needed a glass of wine.
Exactly. So I headed to the cellar and yes, sorted that. And it's really fantastic. Simon, I know you guys have got a lot of very, very interesting products with these fascinating stories. I don't know if you can fit in a couple of those, just some of the more peculiar things. I know there was one where the winemaker is a 7-foot, 7.5-foot giant. I can't remember what the brand was. I know Lanson is the official, the champagne that goes with the strawberries and cream at Wimbledon. It's the official thing. Are there any more of those kind of interesting stories just to whet people's appetite?
Apart from champagne, we also recently added Chateau Moussa, which is a very old and traditional producer from Lebanon, to our portfolio.
Fantastic, yeah.
We'll be getting in some of their wines actually towards the end of this month. Depending on obviously what you like. If you're a Pinot Noir fan, you can come speak to us about Burgundy. We also have a few sort of wines from Bordeaux if you like your Cabernet. We have little bits of things for everyone, and some really geeky wines, some really geeky South African wines from the northeast of Italy.
Geeky wines, I like this.
People often get sort of overwhelmed about wine and what to say about wine and what to know about wine, and I always just say, first, the most important thing is know what you like.
Yeah.
If you can tell me what you like, I can recommend something.
Can fix you up with something different from an interesting place. Just give us a couple of details for the company where you're up the road here.
We are just up the road. If you cross over Oxford, we're in sort of Jamison Avenue, number 2 Jamison Avenue,
corner of
Melrose Estates, corner of Glenhove. Yep, correct. We were obviously speaking quite a bit about champagne. Next month there's the ABSA Champagne Festival on the 8th and 9th of October. We'll be there with a table, pouring a bit of Lanson, a bit of Paul Roger. Just Google it. I think the website went live last week. You can reserve your tickets. So come join us, taste some bubbles.
It's education again. People, you need to educate yourselves while you're drinking. It's a good plan. So that's 8th and 9th of October.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and website for you guys?
Yeah, www.greatdomains.es on the domains.co.za. We're also on Facebook, and if you Instagram and tweet and all of that, at the handle Great Domains, again with the ES. And visit the site. It's quite interactive, easy to navigate, according to country or region.
And can you guarantee the flyover every time somebody visits you?
I'll just put you in the hand luggage next time we go. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you guys, everybody for coming through and for telling us all about all of your different things. Wonderful, wonderful, exciting stuff happening in Joburg in the next couple of weeks, or online, as the case may be. So yes, get a bottle of champagne, head to the art gallery while listening to Tim on your way to the studio on a Harley. There we go. We pulled that off. Okay, fantastic. We're going to play out with Heart and Soul, fantastic Monday song from Twin Atlantic, and the podcast for this will be up later, bruced.podomatic.com, and also check out brucedental.co.za for write-ups, interviews, reviews, lots of fascinating stuff coming up there as well, some nice big interviews. I'm interviewing Mark Olson. He was one of the founders of the Jayhawks tonight, so big hero of mine, and that interview will be up soon as well. But playing out with Twin Atlantic, Heart and Soul, this has been Participate Radio. My name's Bruce Dental, even when I can't say it, and I'll see you again next Monday. Cheers.